Ball. I am Aaron Chau, accompanied by my co-host John Harris as always, and we are back talking NBA. Going to be reviewing some of the trades that have occurred prior to the free agency period of the NBA season, which starts, as I'm recording right now, free agency starts on Friday, June 30th. However, we're here to go over a couple of the trades that have occurred since the season ended, which, Nuggets won the championship and such. But it's been a few weeks since that. We're not going to waste our time analyzing that any further. But like I said, here to talk about mainly one team centered around all these trades. And we'll get to them at the end. But some interesting moves made here. First one, we're going to start right off the bat, go in chronological order of the trades that occurred. First one, though, this was a major domino to fall, and it was Bradley Beal getting dealt to the Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal, formerly of the Washington Wizards. Big deal here. So in regards to what the Suns got, Suns received Bradley Beal in this trade, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd. Not sure if Goodwin or Todd will make their final roster. No offense to them. Assuming it was kind of just to match salaries. The Wizards, however, they get Chris Paul, Landry Shamet. They got the 7th pick, which they used on Bilal Koulibaly from France. He was on Victor Wembanyama's team, but he's an interesting prospect himself. But nonetheless, they got him at 7 with the Pacers, who were also involved in this trade, but it was mainly that pick swap, and they got a couple of seconds. So sorry, Pacers fans. Not going to go in depth there. But nonetheless, yes, so the Wizards, they got pick swaps for 2024, 2026, 2028, and 2030 with the Phoenix Suns. And they got a bunch of second-round picks. And they got one in 2024, 2025, 26, 27, 28, and 30. Most notably, though, they did not get an actual first-round pick, just the swaps. And obviously, they got Chris Paul and Andrew Shamet. So, going to throw it to you, John. What were your thoughts on this deal that the Suns made to get Bradley Beal, and also offload Chris Paul, who they were going to cut allegedly?
I don't necessarily love it for either side. I understand why the Suns did it, because you're just kind of hoping at this point that you can just go big or go home, like just pure superstar power. And I don't think it's necessarily like been proven it won't work. I do wonder. I mean, the tough part here is that like, I don't know. Is this the most expensive team ever? I don't actually know that off the top of my head. But yeah, and even then, the Warriors, they proved it first, So then, like, the Suns have not proved anything yet. So I don't know. At least, once the Warriors proved it, it's like, yeah, obviously you're going to start spending more money. But the reason I say I'm not sure that it's like necessarily proven it can't work yet is because, like, thinking back to that Brooklyn team, there was like, I don't know. They took that Milwaukee team to 7 games the year that Milwaukee won the title, and that was without Kyrie Irving. James Harden played like half the series, and he only came back because they were in a tough series. He was still hurt the whole time. So there was like, and I mean, KD's foot was on the line. So that, there was a chance, basically what I'm saying, that Brooklyn beats that Milwaukee team. I think that was the second round of the playoffs, right? And then Milwaukee maybe that was, no, that wasn't the conference finals.
Sorry.
It wasn't the first round because Brooklyn beat Boston that year. Because we didn't have Jaylen Brown. And that was the year that I believe Milwaukee beat Miami. I can't remember who they played in the Eastern Conference Finals, though. Was it Philly? Has Philly been? I don't think Philly's been.
I don't think so either.
Was it Toronto? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Point being, Brooklyn, if they beat that Milwaukee team, the fact that I can't even remember who the other team was, I think Brooklyn probably would have gone to the finals, considering whoever they played. And once again, maybe it was the conference finals. I can't actually remember. So basically what I'm saying, there was a point where that Brooklyn team, and they would have played the Phoenix Suns. And just to be honest, I probably would have favored that Brooklyn team over that Suns team. So, I mean, we could have very well seen just the superstar load up on us one team thing work. Now, it didn't, but it could have. And so that's why I'm saying there's still a chance this could happen. Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. You got a lot of scores. The key is how do they surround them? And the reason that I brought up is this the most expensive team part is because not only do you have those three, but you also have DeAndre Ayton on such a massive contract that it's going to potentially be a struggle to get some defense on there because even Ayton's not the greatest of defenders himself. So I don't know. We'll see how it works. Like I said, I don't necessarily love it for either team. For Phoenix, I don't love it just because I think they have basically zero flexibility now in terms of the rest of the roster. They're going to need to go deep in the bargain bin. And then for Washington, like you said, with all the pick swaps, I think at this point you're hoping like the 28, 20, 30 picks are like maybe you're good by then, and the Suns team has kind of been torn apart. But with Devin Booker there, I expect him to be a player that retires in Phoenix. I can't see them being bad at least for the next 3 years. So that covers all the way up through 2026. And even then, 5 years from now, if Devin Booker's still there and he's still good, who knows what that team's going to look like. But I still would expect them to be better than Washington, assuming Washington hasn't gotten some crazy player. So I don't know. I basically what I'm saying is I think that the fact that they committed to Bradley Beal like they did a couple of years ago with that massive contract, the no trade clause, all that kind of stuff, it was just a stupid move from Washington. I think that you got to have a little bit more self-awareness as a franchise, realize because when they signed that contract, I don't know how you felt, but I was like, there's no way. Like, Bradley Beal is committing to losing if he stays there because they're just not going to be able to build a contender around him with the way that this team has gone over the last, 6 years. And so, I don't know. I just think you need to have a little bit more awareness as a franchise and understand that either we're going to go down with Bradley Beal and we're just going to suck for the next 5 years that he's committed to this team, or he's going to demand out and we have no leverage. So, to me, neither one is a good scenario. I don't know. I think the same thing is happening with Dame as of right now, but Dame is at least more committed to the team. So I don't know. I think it was kind of we'll see with the Suns, but I think the Wizards kind of lost personally.
Yeah. So in regards to the Wizards, I mean, obviously the no trade clause seemed to have limited the value they could have gotten out of Bradley Beal, and like I said, you already kind of voiced how they kind of lost the value there. I'm not going to go too much into that. We'll talk about the Wizards later. In regards to the Suns, though, obviously, I think player-wise, yes, Bradley Beal is better than Chris Paul. My only worry, though, would be fit, because Bradley Beal, predominantly a mid-range scorer as well. If you look at the numbers, he even had a down year shooting from 3 last year. Same with KD, though, in regards to the mid-range. He also lives there, and so
he's not like James Harden was on the Nets.
My only concern would be who's going to be the facilitator, the main facilitator. I mean, Booker has shown he can do that, but I wouldn't say on an elite level. Cameron Payne is more of a scorer. So I mean, it's tough. Who's going to fill those shoes? And then you mentioned defensively too, how Booker's an okay defender. Ayton's a less than, and Durant getting older. He's not an amazing defender, but not gonna But there's no elite lockdown. Not even one guy, much less you usually need a couple, like we saw with Denver. They had a few guys that could do that, that could rotate, that could switch and do that dirty work. And what's different from the Suns and maybe the Brooklyn Nets team that you mentioned, that with Kyrie, KD, and Harden, was they even had some role guys that some kind of hidden gem role guys that produced. Bruce Brown, you mentioned he had a great playoff run that series. Even Nick Claxton proved to be a very good switchable big for them. And just those things, I'm not sure if the Suns have that, because they've already been mortgaging their future to get these stars to build around here. That's been their quote is, F them picks. And I'm just not sure, there's no one else that they can develop. So you have to go bargain bin hunting, and just not 100% sure. It's just an unsurety who you're going to get in the bargain bin. You're probably getting guys that have already been in the league. So the likelihood that they are better than what they are or have been in recent years is very unlikely. You got to get, I'd say you have to get a little lucky. So we'll see who the Suns can keep adding on. We'll see if they trade Ayton, because a lot of people are speculating that Ayton will be moved, maybe to help with the salary cap, or at least get more pieces to fill out the roster. But no, that's another tough thing, because Ayton's not. I don't mean to dog on him, but just we talked about this before. Just not a predominant big, not one of these bigs that can play defense, can switch, and we've seen he's not the most aggressive offensive player either. So it's not like he's kind of a one-way player, but not even like an overtly special one-way player. Kind of like how Jokic is an overtly special one-way player that's okay at defense and can get away with it because he scores 30 every night and drops 10 assists. That's not Ayton's game.